Yo, what to do, NFL Dream? This is your boy Real Deal Holyfield. Um, it is 9:40 a.m. on 11/11/11. Um, we had some interesting, interesting matchups in Week 9, and we are currently in Week 10 of our NFL Dream Fantasy Football season. And we have some current leaders who are definitely making the playoffs, and without a doubt, and we have some teams that are definitely not going to make the playoffs. Um, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But moving forward, we had two ties this week, which is crazy for the first time in actually, I think, in NFL Dream in our whole time of doing this fantasy football thing. Um, Two ties. I ended up tying Curtis, and Lawrence ended up tying Jeffrey, I believe. And we also had some matchups where was some disappointing matchups to where the underdog ended up beating the top dog, and some crazy matchups. But moving forward, because we don't have a lot of time on here, um, Big Blue Wrecking Crew faces off with Daddy Rampage, and Shane goes on to beat Big Blue Wrecking Crew, um, and look pretty decent. Not a high scoring game, 84-54. Um, Shane ended up picking up Thomas Jones as a filler, and as you can see, he does nothing. um, Big Blue Wrecking Crew, man, I hate to see Ben Tate on your bench rack up 20 points for you like that. Like, I hate to see you. I hate to see people lose like that, especially when you have Jacoby Jones in, and then you can easily swap out Ben Tate in there. Just tough luck, man. Raiders didn't do too well for you, getting you -6 points, and John Baldwin only 1 point. So I don't know, man. Just keep pushing and set your lineups every week. Congratulations, Shane, on your win. You are currently 8-1, and Big Blue Wrecking Crew is 3-6. Moving on to other news. We have Beer Chugging Zombies against Yakuza. Now, this was a pretty good matchup. I love this matchup because it was two top dogs who are pretty good with their lineups, and pretty knowledgeable about their football. And it looks like Big Mike got the edge over Isaac this week. Uh, One of the main sources was Aaron Rodgers, who was, 33 points. Man, like, how could you ever beat that? Um, and Isaac looking pretty good. Brandon Marshall, 19 points. Roy Halou, 15 points. Wes Rucker, 17 points. Like, did pretty well. Did pretty well, but did not get the win, and it was not enough to get the win over Mike, as he pushes forward, and he is 8-1, and Isaac goes down to 6-3, but still looks good for the playoffs. Isaac still looks good. Moving forward, an interesting matchup here. We have Jeff, who um, was not looking so good this season, but you know what? Ended up tying Lawrence, and Lawrence actually came from behind with Willis McGahee. Willis McGahee ended up putting almost a quarter of Lawrence's points, scoring 31 points, and Matt Ryan putting up 24 points. Deshaun Jackson, no points at all. Um, You got lucky here, Lawrence. Like, crazy luck. Um, but Jeff also, DeMarco Murray, 20 points, 24 points from Tom Brady, 19 points from Rob Gronkowski. Looking good, man. Um, Keep it going. Um, even though a tie sucks, but it's, it's better than a loss. You know what I mean? So they tie each other, 102 to 102. Um, so Jeff records currently stands at 1-7-1, and Lawrence's record currently stands at 2-6-1. Moving on into other news, and here's one of the matchups that kind of had me shocked for a bit because I for sure had all my jelly beans bet on John that he was going to win against Louis. Especially knowing that Michael Vick and Jeremy Maclin were left to play on Monday night. Um, Louis ended up doing pretty well. Michael Turner 13 points, Pierre Thomas 14 points, and Darren Sproles 15 points. Um, Greg Jennings 20 points, did pretty well, Louis. But I must say, I thought you were gonna lose. And then on top of that, Marshawn Lynch is on the bench with 22 points, so he could have did even better. Um, John, I don't know. You look good for the playoffs, buddy. Like, um, I do know that um, you did have Julio Jones on the bench, who scored 31 points. Tim Tebow, 28 points. That was a difference maker also. Um, but did not cut it for you uh, in week 9. Moving on. I'm sorry. So John gets the loss against Louis, um, 101 to 109, and he is currently 6-3, and Louis is 2-7. Moving on to my garbage team, and I ended up tying Curtis, the real black man. Um, we both did horrible in this game matchup. It was nothing interesting here to watch. Basically, all of my key players were on bye. One of his key players was on bye. Like it sucked, and got real lucky here, Curtis, because I did not need Torrey Smith to score that last touchdown for Ben Roethlisberger to go ahead and throw that Hail Mary at the end of the game to give me, or no, not Ben Roethlisberger, but they ended up giving that fumble away. You know how they do pitch it at the end and ended up losing 2 points, but whatever. I ended up tying Curtis 65 to 65. I am 3-5-1, and Curtis is 6-2-1. Um, Moving on, for the last game in week 9, Ian whoops the dog doodoo out of Chris. Eli Manning 20 points, Arian Foster 23 points, Reggie Bush 20 points, Jordy Nelson 19 points, Vincent Jackson 35 points, Jerome Simpson 10 points. He puts on a ass whooping on Chris. Phillip Rivers does his thing, 35 points on Chris's team, but that is about it. Ryan Grant 1 point, Chris Obignaya 1 point, Darius Hayward Bay 0 points, Roddy White 7 points, Jason Avant 2 points, Vernon Davis 2 points. Man, look, I know, and I feel your pain. You get your behind whooped by Ian, 140 to 66, and Ian moves on to 5-4 and looks good for the playoffs. And Chris, your record ends up to be 2-7, and it does not look good for you, sir. And moving on into that covers actually week 9's stats. Now, as we all know, Thursday we did have a game, which was last night. We had the Raiders against the Chargers, I believe. And let me just give you a quick box score on that. Mike is currently playing Shane, who has Mike Tolbert in his lineup, and he has currently 6 points. So he is currently ahead in Shane, and Shane doesn't have any players active right now. Um, let's go into another matchup. Let's see here. Who else is playing anybody? Um, I know that I know John is kind of upset right now because he could have easily had Michael Bush in his lineup, and right now Michael Bush has 32 freaking points. 32 points. Michael Bush went off last night. 30 carries for 157 yards and a touchdown. 32 points. Disgusting. I know. Not in your lineup. I'd kill yourself. I don't know. Let's see who else has anybody playing. Um, oh, Ian is playing Louis right now. Vincent Jackson, 2 points. And Jacoby Ford ends up getting 4 points. Louis does not have any players active, and the current score is 6-0. Um, and I know someone else who's pretty upset because Denarius Moore goes the hell off for 27 points, and he is on Curtis's bench. 5 receptions for 123 yards and 2 touchdowns. Disgusting. I know you want to kill yourself. It's okay. But as of now, you only have Curtis only has Sebastian Janikowski playing right now. Has 6 points, and Chris has Philip Rivers, who scored 18 points, and Ryan Matthews scoring 5 points, and he is currently in the lead for against Curtis, 23-6. Um, so, and that's week 10 right now, and we are currently doing week 10. Um, that's the game so far. Those are your matchups and everything. Hope you guys enjoyed the wrap up. Set your lineups. Be prepared to pick up those waiver pickups. I'm sorry that I've been busy. Shane, help a brother out, man. Help a brother out. Do something. Help a brother out. I can't do everything. Put up a league manager poll. Do a little couple of things. I know your computer's down, but I'm sure as well as you can get on, the message board and write your little #1 post and stuff like that. You can do a couple of changes, award a trophy, whatnot. Help a brother out. I can't do everything. I love you, man. But that wraps up this week's recap, and I will try to get back with you as soon as possible. Peace out. Holla at ya, boy.